All right. So this just in. Let's have a look. I think it's from the Footy Furnace. So
Hmm.
six veteran pies
Yes,
set to extend, but nervous wait for pair. All right. Scott Pendlebury, still side
yes.
bottom. Myercheck, Elliott, Howe, and Will Hoskin Elliott, all currently without contracts beyond this season, are expected to sign on for next year. However, but there are two more whose futures aren't currently as clear cut: Mason Cox and Tom
Well,
Mitchell. According to
yes.
Nine's Tom Morris, Collingwood is in the process of considering the futures of the aforementioned crop, all of whom are 31 years of age or older.
So you can work it out. The two that have been told to wait, where are they playing at the moment?
VFL.
Exactly. All the others are playing AFL. So those two there, because they can't break into the side, I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling, unless there's injuries now, that Mitchell and Cox won't break into the side again. They're going to settle. We're going to settle the side down now. We're going to get Geordie back in, try to settle the side down, right, going towards finals. Unless we rest a couple of players at the end of the season, they might come in. But I reckon Mitchell and Cox, they're on their way out.
Yeah.
But all the others, we're going to have how many is there? Count them for me.
XC. Six,
Hoskin
six,
Elliott, one.
six, six, six.
We're
Six
going to have
players.
six players now, six players combined on $1 million of our salary cap, because the club's not going to pay them more. The club's not going to pay them more than 250 grand a year to play for another year. So we're going to have six players on $1 million worth of salary cap, and we're going to have a war chest. I'm telling you, there's going to be a war chest ready to start picking up players.
So is this an estimation you've made based on a collective bargaining agreement that these guys are basically going to be on draftee salaries?
No, it doesn't matter. Because they're older players, they're veterans now.
You're
To give them
dreaming,
one
mate.
more year now, they'll accept 250.
You,
You're not going to pay. You're not going to pay
you.
a 37-year-old or
I don't know
you're
what
not
you
going
did
to
in
pay
your
a
buy round.
35-year-old 700 grand.
I don't know what you did in your
Huh?
buy round. Scott Pendlebury is not playing another year of AFL footy for $250,000. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, You're dreaming.
You're
You're
dreaming.
dreaming. You listen. The club. The club's not going to pay. Not going to pay a 37-year-old, right? 700 grand, right, to play another year
Whoa,
of
whoa,
footy. It's not going to
whoa,
happen.
whoa, whoa,
It
hold on, hold
doesn't.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. There's a big difference between 250 and 700. What's the middle ground? I can accept that. Jamie Elliott and Pendlebury and side bottom, they'll accept 500, maybe 400, but they're not accepting 250. I'm sorry.
Another year. We're talking about another year only. One more year. They're going on for one more year, not 2-3 years. This is their last contract. So they're going to get a 250 grand year wage to play football and win another premiership. Pendlebury wants to get to the game's record, right? Once he gets to the game's record, he's going to make mega dollars.
Mate, think
Just
about
imagine,
think
the
about it. Hold
merchandise.
on. Think about it, all right? I understand the quest to become a dynasty team if we can win a flag or two over the next 2 years, but these guys they're getting older, they want to look after their body. It's got to be worth the sacrifice. Their bodies are on the line for another year. There's no way they're accepting. Mate,
Yeah,
you're spitting in the face of Scott Pendlebury if you're going to offer that much.
listen, bro, right? They would have told the club, pay us 250. We've made our money through the club. We'll give something back to the club now. We'll play for 250 a year. And there's something come up as well. There's something in their contracts. There's a clause in their contracts, due to injury as well. That they're doing some clause in their contracts or so as well. There's a clause they're doing. I'm telling you, we're going to have. Hey, put it this way. All right. All right. Let's make it easy for you.
All right.
Even $2 million for six players. Now, say $1.6 million combined for six players to play on next year. Would you take it?
Look, all I know is we're putting you on record. This is going to be put on the channel. The comment section will have their say, and then we can go from there. At the end of the day, whatever they're getting, it's going to be less than what they're accustomed to, acquainted with. That's fine. That's what they're doing for the betterment of the club. What's positive is they all want to play on, which is important, of course, right?
Yeah, I know, but what I'm trying to say is we're going to have a war chest.
Yes.
We're going to have money in the salary cap. If they do this, we're going to have mega dollars in the salary cap. because there's talk of us getting a couple of good players, free agents. We want free agents. We don't want to give up 2-3 picks for shit kickers.
Yeah, the problem is in the market
Like
of
back to
unrestricted
King.
free agency. There's not a lot of players out there that you can get without picks at the moment.
That's okay. That's okay. The older players will go on for another season until the other players come out of contract. See, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So there's also Billy. We talked about this the other week, didn't we? Billy Frampton, Lockie Sullivan, Parker, Markov, McRae, and Charlie Dean are also there. And with players coming in through the draft by way of academy and father-son, some of those players are going to have to make way, unfortunately.
I reckon Cox and Mitchell on the way out. But all the others, as I said, they're going to sign back on. And they've been playing good football. So just give them another year and we'll see. Put it this way. Even if you give them another year and they start playing shit halfway through the season, it's not costing you much. You can put them back in the VFL and you can bring young kids in. You know what I mean?
Who in those players, those pool of 6 players, would play VFL next year?
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm saying if they're on minimum wage and they're not costing us big money, and they're not performing halfway through next year, or they fall off the cliff, you just put them in the VFL, or a couple of them that are performing. You bring in the kids in, a couple of kids in.
Who Scott?
Or you're going to have free agents anyway.
Who Scott Pendlebury?
Nah, he wouldn't have played on if he knew he couldn't perform properly. It would have fallen off the cliff. He wouldn't have played on. He was not going to embarrass himself, bro. He's not going to embarrass himself for there. He's going to embarrass himself and go play like a shit kicker.
Look, it'll be interesting. Look, this is what we're seeing right now is Collingwood and Geelong are the trailblazers in this domain. Like playing players well past their 30s. I think it creates a lot of optimism for other clubs with list management moving forward. It's really good for the whole league, really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the other, I've said it before. Rebuilds don't work. If rebuilds worked, Port Adelaide would have had a premiership by now. It's been 25 years. If rebuilds worked, Carlton would have had a premiership by now. It's been 30 years. If rebuilds worked, St Kilda would have had a premiership by now. If rebuilds worked, Fremantle would have been premiership winners by now. It doesn't work, bro. It's all bullshit, bro.
You can't bottom out. You can't bottom out, is what you're saying. You got to find a way not to bottom out.
The facts are there. Other clubs have picked up number 1 draft picks everywhere, and they still haven't won a flag. We've won flags, and we've played in finals.